Professor Gnome here. So today I'm going to be bringing you the Honchkrow Pachirisu deck because I feel like no one's really talking about this deck or playing it really. I don't see it on the ladder very much. I don't really see it anywhere, and I haven't seen many people make videos on it. So this is my take on the list. It's not, super insane or anything like that. I'm playing one research. I decided not to play any Marnie. A 3-6 split on the energy because I feel like with Duraludon being so prevalent and immune from anything with a special energy, I can't be over reliant on my special energy, and plus I don't feel like it's dramatically necessary to use it. Outside of that, I feel like everything's pretty standard and self-explanatory. If you have any questions about any individual cards, just let me know in the comments and I'll answer that. But yeah, I've dubbed this deck the Home Depot deck because it's all centered around tools. So obviously we're going to take Air Balloon for free retreats on Honchkrow and everything else just to make sure we're getting our Pachirisus in and we're not getting stuck. Cape of Toughness is actually really, really good. It stops them from being able to boss up our Honchkrows to kill them or our Crobat to kill it in most cases, and also in single prize fights against single prize decks, it actually makes Pachirisu able to tank some shots sometimes because we don't need the choice belt attached because it's not going to help us anyway. So it actually puts in a lot of work there. The MVP of the deck is honestly EXP share because it just helps us constantly have a Pachirisu set up, so we don't really care if any of them get knocked out. And the Research and Ordinary Rod are mostly for one prize matchups because if we're trading Pachirisu for knockouts, then we only get 4, so we're behind the curve automatically. So this will help us return those back, and setting up Pachirisus comes pretty easily. So that's the deck list. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments about it, leave it down below, and I will talk to you and see you guys when we get into the game. Peace. Alright, what's up guys? We're in our first game, and we're here against OK Ninja. I'm going to go Tails, because it never fails. Look at that, we win the coin flip, and yes, I want to go first. With this deck, I feel like it's very important to go first. Unfortunately here, we just mulligan and draw a ton of tools and garbage. So that's not great, but it's fine. We can, give up a mulligan or two. It's not really too dramatic. We get right into Pachirisu, which isn't really spectacular. Just because it's going to take us a couple turns to set one up. So I'm actually going to go ahead and drop the boss's orders. I don't think it's going to be super necessary for us. I'm going to want to grab the Bidoof here. And we'll just attach an energy. And we'll call it a day for now. I don't really think there's much we can do. We want to make sure we can get into Babero next turn. Even if we end up losing this Pachirisu, that kind of sucks, but it'll be what it is. And hopefully we'll get into a couple energies. The benefit against one prize decks like Minccino and other options, though we'll see what they end up playing. Oh, Snorlax V, that's interesting. I'm not really sure what this deck is. I haven't seen this. Not sure if it's an older V build or if they have something new planned because of things like Lumineon. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. 220 is actually not a terrible number for us to hit, thankfully, so that'll be pretty good. And it shouldn't be too difficult. And we can actually live a couple hits. So we're going to go here. We're going to attach our last energy. I'm going to throw this up. And we'll Industrial first, or Industrious. Just for this reason right here. Throw that on there because we're not going to need it to knock out the Minccino. We'll hold on to this. Set up another one. And I like having Lucky Egg onto here because if they go and knock it up, it at least draws us some cards as some like late game final value. And this one we'll set up manually, so we'll have that ready. And then we're just going to take a simple one prize. It's going to make our prize trading a little awkward. But hopefully we can get into our second boss and pull up the Luminion later. But this is interesting. Yeah, so that pretty much just functions like a normal Suicune or something of that type. Though 340 damage is a lot and is going to be very... Hitting those numbers is going to be pretty hard for a single prize. The Marnie doesn't affect us actually that much at all. We're really at this point, we're just looking for Honchkrow and tools. We don't really need much of anything else. We found one Honchkrow, so that's very big for us. We're going to be able to draw a lot of cards on the next turn with our Cynthias. So yeah, we're not in too bad of a position here. Yeah, so that works pretty well. We got our capture energy. That's pretty big, honestly. Because we're going to be able to put the capture energy on here to go and find us our... Yeah, to go and find us our next Honchkrow. So we'll put that down, put that down. And now we kind of just want to start loading up with... We don't actually need this game, so we can throw these away. And now we want to just start loading up with as many tools as possible. Empty our hand out a little bit. So like I said, we just want to be looking for as many tools as we can possibly get at the moment. We want to take this off, throw that on there, throw that on, as many as we possibly can. That. We'll throw an air balloon on this one. We can't really do much with that, but throw them. And it's also good, we can stockpile our items here, and we can always take them and replace them with shopping center. So that's going to be really good for us. This, I don't believe, will be a one-hit KO. I'm very close, though. Unfortunately, we didn't have a way to get one more item. At least not that I noticed. I could be wrong. But it's going to give us a spot, so even if they try to retreat that, we can pull it back up and get the knockout for 3 prizes, which is going to be pretty big. But I really don't want to have to do that. I'd rather be able to pull up the Luminion for weakness, so hopefully they knock this, we trade. We're able to trade in, and then we'll pull up the Luminion, and that'll be our win. As long as all goes well. But we'll have to see. Maybe they could Cheryl and heal it all, but yet again, we're actually only... one... Well, now we don't have our boss, and that's kind of annoying. But maybe I can find us one. So we're here. Throw an energy onto that. Discard that. Just don't really need it. Try to find us a new boss. We didn't find it, which is kind of unfortunate, honestly. We'll hold on to that for now. There's the boss for next turn. Alright. And that's good. We got another tool which will replace the one we're about to lose. Which means we'll be able to hit these numbers. and we also have a boss to be able to clear that whenever we need. And never mind, we got Marnied, so that's pretty annoying. But as long as we can find like 1 or 2 tools, we're in a pretty good spot. We found 1. So as long as like they don't Cynthia that, which they can't do because they already played the spoiler. They didn't even get an attack off, so that's super clutch. I was actually kind of hoping they were going to knock this out, so that way I'd have space for another Honchkrow. Oh, and never mind, they FF'd. So that was super good. They probably didn't have the energies, and it was just going to be a couple turns left before we knock them out anyway. So that's game 1, and I'll see you guys in game 2. Super cool. What's up, guys? So we're in our second game here, and we go with Tails again, and we win like always. We will go first, because Tails is always the right choice. We mulligan, but yet again, that's pretty normal. They mulligan as well. We find a Honchkrow, but that's not too bad because we find it alongside an air balloon. Which makes things a little bit better for us. So we'll be able to grab what we need pretty early on. It'd be ideal off this mulligan. Oh. Through this. I'm gonna research because I'm gonna put myself pretty far down in cards. Because I always wanna have a Pachirisu getting powered up on turn 1. I think it is very important to do so. I could have got the Bidoof to get the barrel set up for next turn, but I really want to start getting this power play going. Especially since I'm pretty safe right now to be able to do so, and I won't need an extensive amount of damage. 230. To be able to get the knockouts. Unfortunately, sorry for yawning. Unfortunately, I don't get the weakness against Charizard because he's only weak to water in this, instead of the a million other things that he's typically weak to. But I do get the Luminion weakness, so when the late game comes, if that's still there, I will be able to steal 2 prizes in the late game with very little. Also, if he's able to knock this out and I go down 2 prizes, that's not actually the worst. If he leaves this sitting here, I might, depending on how my my Cynthia goes here, I may be able to do absolutely nothing at all, actually. Which sucks, honestly. Actually, I'm gonna grab the Honchkrow, because I really need to get something going. Alright, that's so much better. So we grab this. Actually, that's not a lot better at all, because we have items now, which is very good, but we are filling up our bench a lot, which is going to make it very easy for him to knock out my Honchkrow in the next turns. And I don't have an energy to be able to set up my Pachirisu. I don't have a Bidoof, which I guess I should have grabbed earlier, but I kind of thought I would be able to get the energy to start making my Pachirisu work, but kind of misplayed that a bit, considering I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 items anyway. It wasn't gonna make a difference. And then honestly, my barrel could draw me into more items, but if he's able to get into the Charizard V-Star, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But right now, it's not really that big of a deal. Thanks to the cape, I'll live that, so it's not the worst case scenario. We'll get into that. And then we can set up a tiny bit. I'm going to put that down. We're going to just have to look for our other barrel. We can't really just sit here and hope we grab one. We have energy now, at least, so that's good. We'll retreat that. I would have really, really preferred to... How much health is this? 20? Yeah, it's not really going to matter. Just going to have to protect this. Let's thin my deck out a little bit. I would have really preferred to be able to... what was I going to say? I would have really been, like, preferred to be able to get a better setup of items than what I have, but this is what I have to work with. And if Pachirisu gets knocked out, it's not really the biggest deal. We're getting up there in numbers. I also would have really, really liked to be able to get my stadium to remove the magma basin. That would have been really nice just to help slow their deck down a little bit. But right now we just need to hit like 260. Which is still very high, but with the 2 Honchkrows on the board and our board filled, it won't be impossible. That said, also, them knocking that out isn't totally the worst thing ever, because we only need to do 50 damage anyway. So we can attach an energy onto here, grab ourselves another Pachirisu. We're gonna actually have to recycle 2 of these back into the deck, which I didn't really want to do, but it's what we got. And this will help make up for a little bit of that damage. We're going to be able to get rid of that. That's super exciting. We'll just chalk that and that, because maybe they have another one, maybe they don't. I'm not going to keep making the same mistake. I'm going to grab my barrel and look for my Honchkrow this way. And that is ginormous. We're going to take this, we're going to take this off because we don't need it now. At least not on there directly. We're going to throw on this just to be able to get that out of there. And we're going to fire away. Take the knockout. We're only doing 180 right now, but we'll be able to do a lot more than that in a couple moments. Hopefully we're able to find a boss's orders, because I'd really like to be able to knock this Charizard out. For 3. But it's okay. Being able to knock the Charizard out is pretty obtainable. We're getting pretty close. We're hitting for 180. We'll be hitting for 210. And we'll only need... Pretty much we only need like 1 or 2 more item cards. So 1 or 2 more items and a boss. And we're right there. So then we just gotta knock that out and knock out pretty much anything else and we'll be okay. What do we want to do? I think we want to throw down this. Put an energy on that. Let's see if we can find the boss first. Unfortunately, we can't. But we can pick this up. Because we don't really need it for right now. Retreat into that. And then keep that there. And then we want to have the ability to boss first before they do. And there it is. So throw that on there. That on there. Attack. Hitting 300. So on our next turn, we'll be able to boss, and whether they kill that, this. Unless they boss and kill one of the Honchkrows, which is doable because they can hit for 320. That would be really the only thing stopping us, just because of the massive amount of item cards we'll lose. But it should be okay. Because it'll be short 90 damage. But even then, if they switch in and attack with the Charizard, we'll look for 2-hit KOs on it. Because we have prize cards. We actually really don't. If they used one boss, so they're probably only running 1 or 2. The other one might be prize, so we could try to play around that. But we'll have to see. They're discarding a lot of energy. But it really comes down to, I think, this turn, if they have the boss or if I do. Because it's really whoever does it first, because if they're able to pull one of these and knock this up, I won't have the damage for the counter knockout. And then they'll just knock out my Pachirisu. Alright, that's huge. Alright, that should be game. We should be able to pull this up and be able to knock it out. This is our target here. It's already got some damage on it. We're hitting for 300, so even if it didn't, it wouldn't matter. The Lumineon would always be an option if we just grabbed a random barrel, or if we knocked out another Moltres if it wanted to play like that. Just for a clean 2 and a way easier knockout, plus weakness. Pachirisu is really good at sniping off and grabbing these Lumineon. It helps a lot. And even if it knocks this out, we're totally fine. We don't really need to do any of that. We just grab this here. And there's our victory, boys. Let's go! So I hope you guys like the deck. This is my first video on the channel, so if you have any questions about the deck or any decks that you want me to play in the future, just let me know, and I would be happy to do that. Have a good one, guys.